Gentlemen, it's time for the Tuesday Trash. Roll the clip. Actually, we don't have a clip to roll this week because I don't have the original intro and I don't have the equipment to make another one myself. So here we are. That being said, welcome to Bench Points Fantasy Sports. I am your host, Ben Clark. Welcome to the first episode of the Tuesday Trash, the only segment dedicated to reminding my league mates that their fantasy football dreams are already dead by week 1. For those of you new here, this is the Clark Ben Fantasy Football League. We are 12 grown men and some children who pretend that we're NFL GMs, except with more poor decisions, less money, and somehow even worse draft picks. Every Tuesday, I'll be here to hand out the ridicule that you deserve, win or lose. Think of this as a group therapy session, except instead of support, you get roasted. That being said, let's get straight into the carnage. This week was the draft, and there haven't been any games yet, so I can't commentate on the games. That being said, first up on the jumping block, we have the Indy Shepherds, who drafted so many Colts players that ESPN sent me a push notification asking if you were okay. They're not steals of the draft. This is a cry for help. Let's move now to the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, who went with a zero running back strategy this year. This is particularly bold because your wide receivers are about as reliable as a 2003 Honda Civic with 200,000 miles on it. Looking at you, Xavier Worthy. But hey, at least you've cornered the market on mediocrity. Oh, and also, did you happen to change your name to Evan Greenberg while we weren't looking? Because from the looks of your roster, you appear to be the CEO of the Chubb Corporation. Do yourself a favor and pick up the Dolphins defense and special teams as well, so you can get Bradley Chubb on your roster. We can't forget to mention Ditka's Shuffleheads, who drafted Lamar Jackson for an absurdly high $77 with his first selection of the draft. Congratulations, Andy. You have officially drafted like the Cleveland Browns. Throw a ton of money at a quarterback who's overrated and forget to surround him with any sort of help. Next year, go ahead and grab yourself a kicker early too while you're at it. I hear Cody Parkey's available. Just a quick fact for those of you who don't know their history. In the CMFFL, exactly 0 championships have been won by the guy who spends half his budget on a single quarterback. Andy, history doesn't tend to repeat itself, except here where it definitely will. Some of you drafted players who were basically retired in spirit. Billy, why did you draft Aaron Rodgers, Kareem Hunt, and Keenan Allen? Are you building a fantasy team this year, or are you opening a retirement home? This roster would have been elite in 2017, which is right around the time fidget spinners were still popular. Now, I would be remiss in neglecting to bring up the most disrespectful trade request I have ever laid my eyes upon. Josiah Linneman, GM of Imagine Losing, offered me Mitch Trubisky in exchange for Joe Burrow. That's not a trade, Josiah. That's a hate crime. That's like walking into a car dealership and asking to swap your 1997 Dodge Neon with no AC and one working headlight for a brand new Chevy Corvette. That's like saying, I want to trade my 1977 Dave Clark for a 2005 Ben Clark. It's just a trade that doesn't work. Terrible value. Absolutely disgusting. Mitch Trubisky isn't even a fantasy handcuff at this point. He's a cautionary tale. ESPN lists him as questionable every week. And the question is simply, why is he still in the league? So, Josiah, let me answer your offer the same way Mitch Trubisky answers every third down, with a quick check downward to nowhere and a turnover declined. And with that, it's time to hand out one of the highest dishonors this show has the pleasure to offer, that being the Trash Crown. Some of you had bad drafts, others just bad picks. Others, even worse trade requests. But the trash crown for this year's draft goes to, drumroll please, the Indy Shepherds. Do I care that the power rankings have you first on ESPN? Not even a little. Am I insulted that they have me ninth? Slightly. But that's besides the point. You drafted not one, not two, not three, but 6 Indianapolis Colts players. Fantasy football, in essence, is about drafting the best roster possible, and yet you chose 6 guys from a team that's allergic to winning. Least of which of these is former New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. I know he's bad because I watched him play for my beloved Giants the past 6 years, 6, 7 years, and good luck, buddy. You walked away from the draft with a roster that looks like AI Jim Irsay auto-picked it after they put him into his coffin. With the draft behind us, Week 1 matchups are on the horizon, and honestly, I cannot wait to watch these so-called stacked teams crumble. Spoiler alert, by next Tuesday, more than half of you will be raiding the waiver wire like it's Black Friday at Walmart, all because you thought the Bears and Colts players were worth drafting from again. And that concludes our draft special of the Tuesday Trash. Remember, fantasy football isn't won on draft night, but it definitely can be lost. See you next week at the same time after the games, where the excuses get even funnier. That's it for Tuesday Trash. Stay humble, stay trashy. Peace. You're still here? It's over. Go home.